Lego Star Wars, the Skywalker Saga.
Let's go that way.
And this is going to be another walkthrough for level 2 of the game that I'm doing so far. So it's not actually level 2 if you decided to do a different order of the movies, but we're going to be doing A New Hope first. And this is the Hunk of Junk level. And at the very beginning of the game, or not the beginning of the game here, I should say, at the very beginning of this level, we get to see a brief introduction there to the upgrade menu. So I'm not really going to be showing the upgrade menu all that much. I think it's something that you should just buy the upgrades as you want. And you're going to buy upgrades, studs, and also some, whatever they're called, those like Kyber Bricks, I think is what they are. And you get Kyber Bricks for doing everything, for completing levels, completing challenges. Quests will give them to you when you're out in space. You can shoot giant Kyber asteroids. They'll give you like 5 of them. They're everywhere. So you can get a lot of the upgrades pretty quickly, and they are going to help you out a lot. So one of the main upgrade menus is going to be able to boost your health by a lot, and you'll have multiple health bars. You'll be able to do more damage. You'll get studs when you do counters, although I don't actually know how to do a counter because I hate countering in games, so I just kind of ignored that. And also probably my favorite one is the stud magnet. And it's funny because a lot of that is something that was more reserved for the red bricks in the previous LEGO games, and in this one kind of seems like it's mostly just upgrades that you buy with Kyber Bricks. So that's kind of cool. And this is where we're playing as C-3PO and Luke Skywalker. And we need to go through Mos Eisley, find Han Solo. So yet again, I'm cutting out all the cutscenes. If you want to watch all the cutscenes, I have all of that compiled into one nice long video, and it's in the description below. For now, we just have to walk a couple of steps forward and push accept at every time we want to continue the game. So here is finally where the level is starting, I think. The mission system's a little wonky in this game, so there's like 5 levels per movie, and then there's like sort of in between missions. So this one in the top left says it's an urgent message, but that's not actually the level. The next level is going to be the one that I just said earlier, which is a hunk of junk. And this is probably actually one of the longest levels in the game. I actually sped up the end of it by 50% because it just takes forever, and might be able to do it a little bit more efficiently than I completed it in this video, but I'll talk about that when I get there. For here, we need to defeat the Tuscan Raiders, and as I mentioned in the previous video, C-3PO is far more capable in this LEGO game than he was in the previous ones. He can actually fight and jump and do all that good stuff. So we just have to defeat these raiders, and they're kind of going to spawn in that early area that I walked in on, and there's a couple of places to explore here, but I cut some of that out because it doesn't really help.
Hello there. You're fortunate to be all in one piece.
Ben? Ben Kenobi? Boy, am I glad to see you.
Tell me, young Luke, what brings you out this
So another difficulty with recording this game is that the NPCs talk incessantly non-stop, and I don't know how that's gonna go as far as video quality. That might get really annoying really fast. But if you really want to listen to that without me talking over it, then you should buy the game yourself and give it a play. It's a very fun game, and there's a whole lot to do in here, as we're going to be seeing. The thing is, though, most of the levels really come off, except for this one. Most of them tend to come off as like maybe 5 minutes long, 5 to 10 minutes long. If it's one of the shorter missions, like any vehicle mission, usually is only about 5 to 10 minutes long, and then the longer ones might be about 20 at the most, but overall each movie is going to end up being about an hour, maybe a little less, maybe a little more. And I think the longest movie was actually the final one. I think the 9th movie, The Rise of Skywalker, I think that was the longest one for me. And of course, if you get stuck on a puzzle, it might change it a little bit. But there's not really too much to get stuck on. We haven't done anything in this level right now except defeat some raiders and then walked. And we're trying to get to our speeder here so we can take a trip to the cantina. So we're going to be seeing this screen a lot. And this is the quick travel screen. It's going to tell us where to go, follow the quest marker, and just go on through until it takes you along the way. I am cutting out all the cutscenes, I'm cutting out all the load screens, of which there are many, and I'm trying to cut out some of the dead points where I made some mistakes. And then another thing I should probably mention by now is that I am in fact playing co-op with my brother, and it's still wonky. I don't really think they've quite figured out how to have a good co-op, like, split screen format, because some of the Lego games had a split screen that would rotate, so it'd be up and down, or it'd be vertical or horizontal, just depending on where both of you were on the screen. And you could turn that off to where it was permanently vertical or permanently horizontal, and both of them are kind of annoying. This one, we looked in the settings, maybe we missed it, but I don't think you can adjust if it's horizontal or vertical. I think it's always going to be vertical. And it's not really a big deal, except that a lot of the time, you just don't have enough camera. Like, the camera is so zoomed in on you, it's pretty hard to tell when you're playing co-op kind of where you're supposed to go. And later on, there's some vehicles that give you no control of the camera whatsoever, which makes it even harder with split screen. So this game is quite a bit easier, I think, in single player mode, but it is more fun to play with people. That's the whole point of it too, but I just don't really think they did the co-op as good as they could have, because there's not really that many puzzles that use both characters to their to the best of their ability. Like, most puzzles in this game can be completed with one of you, and later in the some movies, some of them do have a lot more puzzles that require both people to do something, and it early on, at least here with episode 4, I don't really remember feeling like there was that many puzzles that I needed two characters to complete all the time. All the talking is over with, and there probably will still be more talking. We have to defeat some of these guys that didn't like Luke very much, and then we're going to skip a cutscene where Han thankfully shoots first, and now we have to head on back outside and go to the Millennium Falcon at long last. So for some reason, this game decided to cut out that spy, that Imperial spy that was in the movie, and they even had the spy in the original Lego Star Wars game, so I don't really know why they decided to just totally erase him, or he's somewhere and I completely missed it, but it was not. If I missed it, then it wasn't obvious whatsoever. And this is kind of what I'm talking about with this game, is that really all we've done in this video, I think we fought two groups of enemies. The one that was attacking Luke and then those raiders, and everything else we've been walking. So I don't really know what the point of me making a walkthrough in this game is, but I also can't really upload the game without talking over it, or it's gonna get copyright claimed like crazy. I mean, in my last video, and this is something that's not new to me, but it just still amazes me, in my last video, the very end of it, I didn't talk over the very end of that video, and I got a claim for 5 seconds of some Star Wars song, and I have disputed these successfully because it's a video game. It's a little bit easier that way, but it's still just a pain in the neck, and it's not something I really want to deal with all the time. So I talk over everything, and in fact, I have the next and I have the point of the video from this point up until the end completely muted. Also, mostly because it's being sped up and it sounds really weird if it's you know, sped up audio, or at least it sounds hilarious, but I'm gonna mute it. But also, I'm not gonna talk over the entirety of this next part. I'm just gonna explain it because this is the only part in the level that's actually like a level. We have to repair the Millennium Falcon. So there's a couple of things needed. We have to get all of the different various parts of the ship together, and we can achieve that by going around the Falcon and moving right here. We can move this, I don't know what to call that, kind of a, what is the term for those things? That's exactly like those things that the electrical workers use, but I forgot what they call those. Lifts? Some type of platform lift? Anyway, we can use that to get Chewbacca up on top, and then we need to cut a hole into this box here. And this will open up a dish, it looks like, or other, no, it looks like the cockpit for the Millennium Falcon. And on the right screen, I don't know if my brother was doing some things of his own, but there's a dish we're going to have to get later. And this is probably actually the longest level in the entire game because of this part right here. So we see that bar at the top. Remember, I'm speeding this up twice as fast. That bar has to go all the way to the next checkpoint, basically. So Chewbacca's fixing whatever that part is, and then the next one he fixes a gun, and then I think he has to do that 1 or 2 more times, and it takes a really long time, and the whole time we just have to protect him from these stormtroopers that are trying to stop us. And eventually we're going to have to climb up on top of this little arena and go around the edge and defeat some of the stormtrooper snipers, and we're not really doing anything else besides that as it is. And with these stormtroopers that are coming out of the doorways on the edges, you can usually do something that kind of blocks them off, so we can build that turret or we can build a trap for them. There's all kinds of stuff you can do, so it's kind of something that I would really recommend that you just go and explore it a little bit, try to, you know, figure that part out for yourself, because I'm not going to show all of that. But really, it's just a waiting game. There's not really anything else to do here. And thankfully, this is really the only level in the game that makes you wait this long. There are going to be some other levels where we have to wait on someone to repair something, but it's not. None of them are going to take this long. And I kind of thought this was lazy. This felt like they were just padding out how long it took to complete this level, because, as I said, each movie lasts about an hour, and it really felt like they couldn't get this movie to be an hour long, so they just made this part an extra 10-20 minutes or however long it took. So, I don't know. I wasn't really happy with this. I thought this was kind of stupid. And it's not really very hard, and there's not really a whole lot else for me to say. So I'm going to continue the walkthrough on in the 3rd video of A New Hope, and I'll see you then, but that's all I've got for this one.